Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 182 of your favourite Formula 1 show. Yes, Knowing Wheel returns. We're back, admittedly slightly late, to discuss the Austrian Grand Prix and really at this point preview Silverstone this weekend. Of course, as always, I'm joined by back at home JB183, Jetlag 183, and Tired 183.
Yes.
He's feeling good.
Yes, I stepped off a plane about 90 minutes ago. Back in the continent of my birth. And here we are. Yes, I'm moving incredibly slow, this podcast, which is, some might say normal. But my body thinks it's 4 a.m, and I haven't really slept yet. So enjoy. It's going to be a rambly one.
Jamie might fall asleep halfway through the show.
It's possible.
We're also both rocking some absolutely appalling tan lines, apparently. I look like I've been skiing. Now I'm closer up to a camera. Jamie reckons he's got a bit of a panda tan going as well. So
yeah.
All is well in the world of Knowing Wheel. And I think we're kind of hoping, aren't we? It was probably the worst possible time for a triple header, wasn't it? When we've both been away. So thank you to everybody that has kind of stuck by with the show. We apologise. We're hoping it will pretty much be back to normal now as we get towards the summer break. But of course, because Jamie is the most middle class person you know, he's going away at the end of the month. Well, Jamie, there's only one way to define now whether you're middle class, and we'll get topical just for a second.
Oh,
of course,
are we really?
It has been the general election here in the UK. In your area, who won?
Oh, Labour, obviously.
Oh, it was
they won
Labour,
everywhere.
Okay. Well, they didn't win quite everywhere, but they won in a lot of places.
Who won for you?
Labour as well. I just thought you
There you
might
go.
still end up in Conservative.
No, I'm literally in Manchester. Like, it's red wall up here.
Yeah, fair enough. I had forgot, to be fair. What did you say to me earlier on about where you used to live?
Oh, Nigel Farage's constituency. We love that. We don't love that.
You didn't actually live in Clacton, did you?
Yeah, I did. I lived in Clacton-on-Sea for 3 years.
You lived in Clacton? I had no idea about this.
J183 law early in the podcast for everyone.
You lived in Clacton? That seems so bizarre to think about. So funny. So funny. But I mean, yeah, like we said, the Austrian Grand Prix was pretty much a week ago.
Back on topic.
We're going to steer away from the politics talk too much this morning. We'll create a spin-off podcast to discuss that down the line. Let's be fair, Jamie. There's only one thing we really want to talk about from Austria, wasn't it? And that was obviously the contact between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris.
Yes.
What did you make of this?
Well, it's been coming for a while. Starters off because obviously they're probably operating as the best two drivers on the grid right now, I would say. And in the best two cars, or at least the best one car in the McLaren, and Max is dragging everything out of the Red Bull.
I would say they're the best two cars.
That was bait. They are the best two cars. Yeah, it was a bit of an interesting one because obviously the contact was the big flashpoint, but the 4 or 5 laps leading up to it too were pretty dramatic and kind of highlighted again just the flaws in the stewarding system in my mind, at least. Because you had Max kind of operating very much in the grey areas of what's legal in terms of moving under braking, and sometimes not even in the grey areas. He was just straight up moving under braking, getting away with it, which I don't particularly like to see. I'm sure you don't either. And then you had Lando sending like dive bombs from well back and forcing Verstappen off the track, which Max kept the place, and everyone's saying they probably would have given the place back to Norris had the contact not happened the next lap, which I don't think is the way it should be, because Max had no choice but to go off the track in my mind. But that's the way the rules are, and if that was gravel or a wall on the exit there, then Norris gets a penalty for forcing Verstappen off, because it's not a penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've said this so many times, haven't we, that Formula 1 penalties are still dished out because of
outcome.
The outcome of an incident rather than the actual incident itself, which desperately needs an overhaul. But how many times are we going to keep banging this drum that F1 desperately needs to fix how wheel-to-wheel racing doesn't exist, does it? Unfortunately, in Formula One in this day and age, and it is such a shame to see. I mean, it did make me chuckle. Obviously, Max saying, you can't dive bomb like that, seemingly forgetting that's the only way he's ever been able to pull off an overtake prior to about 2 years ago, where suddenly, he had a car that was 20 miles an hour quicker down the straight than anybody else.
That's
so
a little harsh.
I think, there's definitely pot kettle black in that regard.
I do think
trying to call out that.
He said that's not how you overtake, and it's almost like he was saying that's how I overtake, so you're not
exactly.
allowed.
Only I can do that. I mean, we've said this for years, though, haven't we? That it was always going to have to be the case. George, Charles, and Lando, if they want to race Max, if they want to have a chance of beating him, they've got to race him like Max races. And I mean, would you agree that if in some hypothetical world Max Verstappen had a race with Max Verstappen, it would end up with a hideous collision?
Oh yeah, there's no way either of them finish. Yeah, and obviously the very next lap. Actually, this was more cut and dry, just an error from Verstappen, which you don't see very often.
Wow. I was going to talk about this in a minute. Carry on with your point.
Okay, I mean, I was going to say, maybe it's not as cut and dry as I'm thinking. You obviously got Verstappen goes defensive, fine, that's allowed. Norris goes to the outside, absolutely fine. Verstappen then tries to open up his corner as much as possible by shifting back to the left. And Norris is up against the white line, but he's not over it. And technically he can go 2 wheels off the track. He doesn't have to, but he can. And Verstappen kind of assumes he would, and he didn't. And then they crash because Verstappen didn't leave a car's width to the white line quite. But I'm thinking 2018, Austria, Sebastian Vettel is overtaking Lewis Hamilton for 4th, I think, at this point in the race, and does pretty much the same thing, but leaves about half a car's width to the white line, and Hamilton goes onto the curb and loses the place. And that was hailed as a great overtake.
There's one key difference there.
What's that?
One of those cars is overtaking, one of those cars is defending. This is what staggered me that no one seems to have pointed out so far. Is, you compare this to 2019, to 2018, to whenever. Though all of those moves where the driver has then forced the other one over the white line have been when they've been the overtaking car. Now, does that
make a difference?
Well, this is what I was going to ask you. Should that make the difference in Formula 1? Because obviously Lando was the one with the momentum up towards the top of the hill there. So, of course, he's driving into a gap that is there that's suddenly being cut off. Sebastian Vettel has obviously made the move already because he was already ahead of Hamilton. They're pretty similar, actually, wheel to wheel with Lando and Max in this incident. But Sebastian Vettel is the one that made the room, made the space, obviously, and got down the inside, and then is dictating the line more.
Maybe.
I mean, I think we can obviously both agree, can't we, that the damage implication because of the contact was unlucky. But the idea, that obviously Verstappen came out after the race and went, obviously we were unlucky with the damage the contact did. Formula 1 isn't a contact sport.
No.
The idea that he feels that he was unlucky because, that was the outcome of the contact we made is ridiculous, is farcical.
I don't think he was trying to make contact.
No, but it's the idea that he's gone in with that mindset of, we were unlucky because the contact did this. No, you shouldn't be making contact in the first place. That's not how you race. That's not how you should race in Formula 1.
I genuinely don't think he was trying to make contact at all.
I genuinely think he was just trying to bully Lando out.
Well, yeah. And were... But I think it was probably a misjudgment to make contact from Max. Like a millimetre or a few centimetres misjudgment.
Hindsight's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he'll look back on that and go, I wish we hadn't made contact now. But I think he's also there going, well, on the other hand, I gained 10 points on him in the championship. I don't really care.
Do you think Max is thinking about the championship when he's 96 points clear or whatever it is now?
Well, he was defending pretty hard from Lando, and imagine if it had gone the other way. Suddenly
he just loves to win.
Suddenly that gap's 50-odd points rather than 70-odd? McLaren have got momentum behind him. I wouldn't say he's cut and dry yet.
I still think he is.
If I had to put money on it tomorrow, I think Red Bull will be world champions. But, this was going to be the other point I raised. Because, of course, obviously, there's still this huge belief that Max Verstappen doesn't make mistakes in Formula 1. And this year, we are seeing Red Bull and the Dutchman just start creeping in on more and more errors. You know, you look at, obviously, yes, Lando was incredibly lucky with the safety car in Miami. Max still wrecked his own car. Bobbling over that curb, taking the floor damage.
I mean, that's an incredibly minor mistake.
Well, he potentially cost him the win, though. But it's that point that obviously people are like, well, Max doesn't make mistakes. They're starting to creep in now.
That's ridiculous. All drivers make mistakes.
Exactly. It's not, Vettel 2018, 2017, that kind of thing yet. But they are, you can tell just slowly that the pressure is there. And, Red Bull, the idea that that Lando was even close enough to be in that fight towards the end, because Red Bull messed up the pit stops.
Yeah.
I mean, was Max lucky not to get a penalty during the first pit stop?
For what? Unsafe release?
Rejoining in front of Lando, sorry.
What did he do?
Eh?
Oh, yeah, he's unsafe rejoin.
Yeah.
It was borderline. I don't think, they're never going to penalise the race leader for that kind of thing, which is stupid, but...
Aren't they?
Yeah. I don't know. If it was more if Lando had to, swerve out the way, it was more unfortunate because McLaren are the next pit box, aren't they? Or, there's Mercedes between, and they're close.
Mercedes and Ferrari.
And Aston
true. Martin? No, they're ahead of Aston Martin,
yeah. But yeah, I don't think there was much of a reason to penalise there. But yeah, a fine maybe. Yeah. They sometimes give fines for that kind of thing.
Yeah, they will do sometimes. It was one of those ones I felt that could have gone either way. I would probably say at 2/3 he doesn't get a penalty, a third he does.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, especially with Checo still absolutely nowhere, not providing any support, which to be fair, bless him, Oscar Piastri hasn't done much better recently. He did really accidentally kind of bottle the win in the end. What could have been quite an easy win.
Yeah, he would have won the race. He would have been third by a long way if his qualifying lap had counted, wouldn't he? Before the crash.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and do you think the penalties were fair? The track limits that Lando got for being overly aggressive and losing time, and the 10 seconds that Max got?
I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because ultimately, had Lando's penalty been called earlier, contact wouldn't have been made. Max's penalty was irrelevant at the end of the day. Did he get penalty points on his license for it? I mean, it doesn't matter, will it? They never ban anybody.
He did, yeah. He did.
Yeah, it's kind of irrelevant as well.
No, they get to 10 or 11, then that's it.
They just don't get... They're basically immune then. They can do whatever they like. I think Lando's penalty, I feel, was on the harsher side, but I can understand it. Again, you go back to obviously when he forced Max off the road, though. How many times have we seen Max do that? And then
the penalty wasn't
with it.
The penalty wasn't for that.
No, I know it wasn't. But you say obviously that Max could have, had to go off the road. He could have just backed out of it and stayed on.
Yeah.
He basically he did commit probably 75% of the way through that corner to I'm just running wide and keeping the pace now.
Just a poor referee, yeah.
And let's discuss the one final thing about that as well, Jamie. After the contact had been made, I don't think he's gone under the radar.
When he didn't
just pushes Lando off the road. But not let him through, but he squeezed him off the road, and that was Mad Max 2021 against Lewis Monza vibes to me. I don't care of what's cool. He did have a puncture, yes, but you can clearly see he's looking in that mirror, trying to force Lando off.
Maybe that was a red mist situation. But
that's the kind of thing that needs to be punished. You can't have red mist in a Formula 1 car.
Equally, you could say he's trying to get off the racing line. Only he's going to know that.
He's not. If he wanted to stay off the racing line, he would have stayed over on the left-hand side.
Well, that is the racing line.
He was on the right, Jamie. He pushed Lando off the right-hand side.
Yeah, I know he was on the right, but you can say, I don't know, I'm just playing devil's advocate, that he could have gone to the right to try and avoid, because he's got a puncture, so he's trying to get out of the way. But, he definitely knew Lando was on that side. It's very similar to when Rosberg had no front wing coming out of that corner. And then just drove on the left white line.
Yeah. But, I mean, let's just... Again, you're playing devil's advocate here. let's say George Russell had been closer, and it was George in that position against Max, who's got a puncture.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a penalty, slam dunk, wouldn't it? But
what if Max is driving with the puncture?
Yeah, if George Russell had been the one to try and go down the inside.
It probably would have been. Yeah.
So again, penalties dished out because of outcome rather than the actual incident.
One mark against Lando was, for me, he didn't drive with his head when he was pulling the car back with a puncture at all.
No, that is completely fair as well.
He was absolutely going for it, like way too fast, and tore his floor up, whereas Max was doing it gently and sensibly, and therefore was able to continue. So I do kind of blame Lando for his own retirement in a way, because he could have definitely carried on had he not been so hot-headed.
Yeah, and I think, that's got to be something Lando has to learn from as well. But in terms of the wheel-to-wheel combat, the end result was obviously very, very unlucky for the pair of them. Would you say Lando should do something differently next time? Or do you just think this is how you're going to have to race Max Verstappen?
Well, don't corner cut as much would be a good start.
Well, yeah, there is that. Well, not corner cutting really, is it, around Austria?
Or track extending everywhere.
Yeah.
Do I think he should do differently? Honestly, no. It was quite a good battle. Actually, I just watched their kind of press conference roundup from Silverstone, and they both are being very calm about it, which is good.
Really boring.
Oh, I like both of them, so I'm quite glad that they get on.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah, they basically said it was a good battle. It is what it is. We're happy to race again, which I think is good because, I think the telling thing will be if they crash again, what's the press release that time?
I mean, this is kind of what annoys me about it, because of course, I think it's fair to say, isn't it, that in that crash, Lando was not in the wrong. Yes, he could have done something differently, but I don't think you can really put any blame to him.
No,
the fact he's kind of now rolled over and going, yeah, it is what it is, we're still mates, all this, that, and the other. Kind of going, no, actually, you want to turn around and go, well, we'll keep it PG, but you get my vibe.
He's a naughty man.
He's a very naughty man. He's a rapscallion.
Though I do think Lando was over the limit before that incident on occasion.
But that's how Max has driven for years.
Yeah, it is, and that's what made it a good battle, because they were both not giving an inch.
Yeah.
I want to see stuff like that again, to be honest.
I'd rather see good, clean, respectful racing, but there we are. I mean, how many times have we said this, Jamie? The rule should be if the car behind's front wheels are alongside your rear wheels, you have to give them space.
Yeah, but then find me a battle where that's the case for
Alonso
more than a few corners. When?
2021 Hungary, for lap after lap after lap.
Alonso definitely didn't leave space all the time.
He was willing to slightly trim in towards an apex, but that was as Lewis was already falling away from it.
Yeah, and that's where the grey area is, because if you're going around a corner side by side, at some point your wheels will no longer be alongside, and you are allowed to run them out of road.
Yeah, you say that, not necessarily.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but you watch any, like, the 79
what I mean.
Dijon.
But that's the culture of Formula 1 now, isn't it? Of, it was Max at Las Vegas last year. We're side by side into the apex, and obviously Charles knew what he was going to do. So Charles was basically having to run himself off the road, so Max was never in front of him. This is the problem I have with it.
No, it is
so dumb.
For sure.
So dumb.
But I think if you start saying you always have to leave space, regardless how alongside they are, you're just giving a massive high ground to the outside car, which would change the style. But I want
clean wheel-to-wheel racing.
Yeah. No, I know what you
mean. But this is the thing, obviously, it existed before Max came in. And, you say about the grey area moving around in the braking zone, that was only a grey area in 2015 and 2016. That pretty much got outlawed immediately because of Max. It's no longer a grey area. And then he tried to claim, didn't he, that he was only moving on the straights rather than when he was braking. And you're going, well, in that case, then you're leaving down the straights. Yeah, it definitely wasn't true either.
I mean, there was a clip from the Skypad with Anthony Davidson. You've probably seen it.
Yeah.
I think
McLaren tweeted it. Yeah.
McLaren, the one McLaren tweeted, which is very stirring the pot.
I love Andrea Stella.
I'm sure he tweeted it himself.
I'm so happy because obviously Toto's not going to call it out because obviously he wants Max at Mercedes next year. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy Andrea Stella's just prepared to absolutely throw the book at it and just go, it's crazy, it's farcical. Because at the end of the day, still, you know, we're not. World Championships shouldn't be decided over and over by crashes and incidents every other week. But that's kind of how it feels it's starting to go. Or it could go in the future.
Yeah, but then you think about the last close World Championships, ignoring 21, because obviously that's the start of what you're trying to make, but 16 they crashed at least twice throughout the season.
Well, it was twice, wasn't it, really, in the end?
Yeah,
but
14
I think,
they
it's different
once.
when they're teammates, though, isn't it?
Yeah. 2012 they didn't crash. As far as I remember.
So.
Alonso,
they never really raced each other, did they?
No, they didn't really, yeah. Alonso only had 2 DNFs and they were both lap 1 due to a Lotus. Yeah. 2010 they all just crashed into each other at random points. So
2010 was such a bizarre year, man.
Yeah.
Such a weird year.
I don't know. I think this kind of borderline, like, high stakes is kind of what you're going to get. It's not a gentleman's sport anymore.
No, completely.
So, yeah. I don't hate it, to be honest. I think it gives us something to talk about quite clearly.
Well, yeah,
nice.
there is that. Yeah, there is that. I mean, is vintage F1 back, Jamie? Are we going to see Lando and Max crash in Silverstone?
At Cops, yeah.
I mean, did you see...
The reason this was so hard racing in the real race was actually partly down to the sprint, because Lando and Max kind of orchestrated all this turn 3 action in the sprint race.
Yeah.
Which again happened at Silverstone 21 because Max and Lewis orchestrated their Cops collision in the sprint race.
They did. It's
so
true.
Maybe we just have sprint races all the time and then people will keep crashing.
Get your tinfoil hats out, ladies and gents. I mean, did you see someone had photoshopped Lando's car onto Lewis's from 2021?
Yeah, I
did.
Posted
it on Instagram. Did you see who liked it?
No, is it McLaren or Norris? Or
Lando Norris's dad liked the post. Which I think is great. I think is absolutely fantastic. I mean, yeah, let's talk about other few bits and pieces. Well, obviously we've got a few other bits to talk about. We've had 3 signings since we last podcast, didn't we, Jamie? 2 of them were to the surprise of... Well, all 3 really were to the surprise of absolutely nobody. But I guess they all deserve a bit of discussion. The most boring one, of course, was Lance Stroll. Confirmed. Aston Martin.
No
multi-year
way.
deal. Who saw that coming? Wow.
I have, yeah. At least they actually announced it this time.
It's the first time ever he's been announced,
yeah, probably. Or, it's an undisclosed ending of his contract, isn't it? It's just like, yeah, he's here. Suck it up, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hose mad.
Yeah. The other one, Gasly, was it? Re-signing with Alpine? Which,
Gasly,
again...
Which we kind of expected.
We did expect for a little while. And next to him could be Carlos Sainz, but we'll not get into that today. And the other one, just this morning... Wait, what? No, it would have been yesterday
morning. Yeah, it was yesterday anyway.
Yes, it was. It feels like morning because I'm still awake. It was Ollie Behrman, your boy from... Is he from near where you live? I think he is.
No, that's Zach O'Sullivan.
Oh, he's not going to get a seat, is he?
No, he's not getting a seat ever.
Yeah, Ollie Behrman to Haas. This has been coming since Saudi Arabia, despite him being about 18th in the F2 Championship.
He's not doing that badly because he won a race in Austria.
Oh, he won the sprint,
He's not doing very
he?
well. Yeah. I mean, this would have been the year to do an F2 show as well.
F2 is ridiculous.
It would be so much ranting about how ridiculous it is this year.
They've had 10 winners in 12 races.
None of which are the championship leader.
14 races, and none of which are the championship leader. It's mad.
Absolutely insane. I mean, Antonelli now is 9th overall. Behrman is 14th.
Yeah, it's not going fantastically well. Wait, you only got 10 points in the sprint. That's not a win.
Yeah, it is.
So you get penalised?
Yeah, you get 10 points for a sprint win.
Really? I thought it was 15.
Yeah. No, 10. They changed that years ago.
Oh, well.
But obviously because they did the reverse grid now with sprints on Saturday. I mean, it's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you remember that, say, Paul Aaron hasn't had a win so far this year, but Taylor Barnard in P20 and Roman Stanek in 21st have.
That's insane.
So dumb. So dumb.
Yeah. Wow. And Victor Martin's in 17th. I think the F2 Championship will have to come to a close when Amaury Cordial wins a race, which actually hasn't been too far out of the question this season.
Don't. Amaury Cordial, I mean, how old is he? It's still stinking up the grid. Amaury Cordial is 21.
Only 21?
I thought he was older than that, to be
No,
fair.
he's just rubbish. He's just, like...
56 starts?
Yeah. And he still hasn't had a podium yet. But he was actually on for one at Imola. He could have won that race. I was there. And then his car broke down on the way into the pits.
Yep.
He was the leader on the alternate strategy.
Well, almost as good as when I went to Imola, and I almost watched... Roy Nissany win, and then he bottled it from the lead.
That was fantastic.
That was funny.
But yeah, what were we talking about? Oh, Ollie Behrman, yes.
Ollie Behrman, sealed. I mean, we knew it was happening, because of course he's doing like six free practices with Haas this year. When they
and Haas are fresh off the back of their best result of the season. That will be their best result of the season, I can guarantee.
Because it's Austria.
Yep, Hulkenberg P6, we love that. Holding off Perez. But some still say Perez is better. I was ahead of the curve on that, calling Hulk better since 2016. Thank you. Yeah, it's P6 and P8. They're now back ahead of Alpine. They're well ahead of Williams and Sauber, and fighting VCARB is a non-starter in my mind. So, yeah. But Hulkenberg has actually overtaken Behrman now in the championship, so we love that.
Woo!
Exactly.
How big is the gap to VCARB, and how he's still 11 points? Yeah, that's a lot to try.
Tsunoda has just been doing work. It's crazy.
I mean, let's talk about that then, Jamie, just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Could VCARB beat Aston Martin this year?
I mean, they're not a million miles away.
No.
I feel like Aston in the last few races and VCARB, to be fair, have both been pretty atrocious.
Yeah, VCARB have ruined their upgrades.
It's kind of jumped. It's been like Alpine and Haas are now like 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
In the last two races anyway since Spain, but it could all switch back and VCARB might be good again. But yeah, they haven't been doing fantastically. The only dead cert is that Sauber are finishing last, to be honest.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Are Sauber going to score a point?
I think they will somewhere.
You reckon?
Just hopium. They've already finished one place away from the points twice.
Oh yeah, they finished 11th in Bahrain because they had a car that was the right weight.
And they finished 9th in China Sprint.
Yeah, that's a sprint race, man. Get a grip.
It's
they
one
were
point. It's one place
definitely given more power that weekend. Like I refuse to believe they weren't given something.
I mean, actually, you might be onto something there. They were definitely given a spot in Parc Fermé, which was very nice. Yeah, I don't know. Aston are terrible, but then so are VCARB a bit. So also in the news, Aston are on the verge, it seems like, of signing Adrian Newey.
Well, they said they were on the verge of signing Adrian Newey. All that was said was that apparently he was in advanced talks with them and that an announcement was imminent, but it never said anything about an announcement with Aston Martin. It could be, I'm in advanced talks with them and I'm still going Ferrari. Perhaps that's my opinion.
I think it will be Aston Martin.
I hope it's not. I really
it would be hilarious.
Hope it's not.
Alonso 26 world champion. Here we go.
If 20 years after his last world title. The thing that annoys me more about that is I hate the idea that Lance Stroll could end up in a Newey OP machine.
Yep, and when Alonso retires, they'll probably just promote like Drugovich so Stroll can win a title. Imagine.
Oh, he wouldn't though, would he?
They'd have to scrape the barrel to find a teammate.
Trolley.
They bring back Sergei Sorokin, because isn't that the only teammate Stroll's beaten?
Yeah, I guess.
There you go.
Sergei Sorokin's 1 year in F1 was so bizarre. I mean, he basically had Joe in 2022, didn't he? Where the car was capable of scoring points early on, but he was still learning, and then the car was dog poo by the time he was actually up to pace.
Yeah, he still got a point. To Stroll's, I think 5 or something. It was an absolute awful year. I thought it was 8
for some reason. I had in my head. But yeah, that was like a real turning of the Williams downfall, wasn't it?
Yeah, Claire Williams is on her way out at that point. But yeah. Also, having just returned from America on the 4th of July, I want to shout out Williams for making Logan Sargent drive a Union flag car around Silverstone on the 4th of July weekend.
Do you know what's even better than him having to do that?
No.
He's Franco Colapinto, of course, famously Argentinian, having to do the same in Formula 2. No, he's got the same livery for free practice.
That is fantastic. Wow. There we go.
Oh, man. So funny. So funny.
Rule Britannia and all that.
No, don't be one of those people, James. It's disgusting.
No.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Shall we do the quiz?
Where are we up to? Oh, this is going to be atrocious. I'm so not thinking straight right now, if you couldn't tell.
Yep. Well, you haven't got a time limit for this one, Jamie.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you that off straight off the bat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 17 answers.
That's a lot of answers.
That is quite a lot of answers. That's why I've given you no time limit.
Okay.
Your job today, Jamie, is to name me every driver that has won more than one British Grand Prix.
Oh, wow.
However, if you get it wrong, you're out.
Okay. More than one.
More than one British Grand Prix.
Well, Lewis Hamilton.
Correct.
How do I want to do this? Am I being really stupid? Oh, no. Yeah, he has. Vettel.
Correct.
I'm doubting myself so bad. British Grand Prix or Silverstone F1 races?
You heard the question.
Okay. I don't know if Max has or not. I actually don't think he has, because 23 was him. 22, yeah, he hasn't. I'm avoiding Verstappen, so have that. I don't think Rosberg did, because he only won in 13. Weber
This is
didn't.
great. I'm pretty certain I can hear your brain.
I'm just working backwards, basically. They all just win one, and that's it. Apart from Hamilton, who's won like 8 or something.
9 this weekend.
Who was before Weber and Vettel and Hamilton? 07. Did Raikkonen win one before 07? There's 17 answers. But I'm back to 07. I've got 2. I don't think Raikkonen did. I'm going to avoid it for now. I might say it later. Michael Schumacher. I don't really...
Correct.
Good. I actually doubted myself for a second as I was waiting for you to say. Surely he was like the boss at Silverstone. Nigel Mansell.
Correct.
Good.
Nigel, I believe, won 5?
Yeah, he was crazy good. I'm going to throw some stabs in the dark.
4.
And go, if Mansell won 4, maybe Prost and Senna didn't win 2 each. Because they all raced at the same time. No, I'm going to say Prost and I'm going to say Senna.
Prost is correct. Senna didn't.
Oh, well.
Senna, I believe...
What a fraud.
Not
my goat.
He might not have even won 1. Oh, no, Senna did
goat.
win the 1988 British Grand Prix.
And that was it?
That was it.
What a fraud. I had a few more, like... Jim Clark probably did.
Jim Clark famously won 6, I believe.
Yeah, I thought he was the guy before
5,
Hamilton.
Sorry. Yeah,
Jackie
5.
Stewart. Oh, DC, didn't he? Was DC an answer?
I was waiting for DC. DC did win 2.
I seem to remember him being quite good.
Yeah, David Coulthard won 99 and 2000.
Yeah, I was struggling with that. Was a really good question, because was Raikkonen? I don't think he was he?
Raikkonen, I believe, only won 1. It might
he
not
won
be.
07,
No, I don't think he won any.
No, he won 07.
So he did win 07. Yeah.
And Alonso didn't, or he might have won 5
won
and 6.
2006 and 2011. Remember 11?
Oh,
was the
11,
only race
yeah.
Ferrari won. Because they had
wow.
what was it? The DRS loophole or something? Or something
No,
else,
it wasn't
it?
DRS. It was.
What was
that
it?
was
that
the weekend. They changed tyres to
Yes.
different tyres, and then changed it back immediately.
Yeah, once Ferrari got a dub.
Yeah, that was hard. And I bet there were loads in the old days.
Well, do you want me to give you the list?
Yeah, go for it.
So you didn't fall for my trap of saying Max Verstappen, because of course he has only won one British Grand Prix.
And 170th anniversary.
You forgot Mark Webber won twice.
Did he?
Yeah, you obviously not bad for a number 2 driver.
Yeah,
and he did win 2012. Yes.
I thought for some reason he didn't win 2012. I would. Yeah, should have. If I was more awake, I would have got that.
Fernando Alonso, like we said, 11 in 2006. Coulthard, like we mentioned, 1990, 2000. Jacques Villeneuve won 2 British Grand Prix.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
96 and 97. Emerson Fittipaldi.
Nope.
Jackie Stewart.
I should have got that.
Sterling Moss.
Yeah, the British always do quite well at Silverstone, don't they?
They have done historically quite well.
It's the extra half a second.
Exactly. Jose Froilan Gonzalez.
Yeah, definitely going to get that one.
Yep. Alberto Ascari.
Probably could have got that.
Niki Lauda.
Yeah.
Jack Brabham.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously, Jimmy Clark.
Jim Clark. There you go.
I believe that means you got 4 out of a possible 17.
I said 2, 3, 4, Hamilton,
5.
Vettel.
Sorry, 5.
5. Yeah. There we go.
You got 5 out of 17. That's pretty.
There you go. Next week you're going to have to stay up for 36 hours before I give you the quiz.
There's not a chance on this
How
earth
about that?
I'm going to stay awake for 36 hours ever in my life.
Well, there you go.
Predictions recap and predictions then, Jamie. Last thing on the list.
We went for... I don't remember which way round.
Didn't you?
I didn't.
Wrote these down, I thought. I thought you wrote them down.
I know what we did, roughly.
Well, yeah, but you can't remember which way round we did them.
No, I said Norris pole, Max sprint win.
Norris win, didn't you?
No, surely I didn't do that.
I think you did. Keep talking about something else, Jamie. I'm going to listen.
All right. Well, I can tell you what the points were before Austria, which was you were ahead of me. Oh dear, 42 to 41, and obviously there were 10 points on offer because it was a sprint race, which we haven't talked about at all, but not really happened. Piastri just beat Norris, which was quite amusing.
Jamie, I've got your predictions.
Okay, what were my predictions?
So you said Max Verstappen pole. So no
correct. No, that's
oh, sorry,
right.
Yeah, that is correct. Sorry, ignore me. You said Lando Norris sprint win.
Incorrect.
So nothing for that. You said Max Verstappen race win.
Nothing.
You said Lando Norris P2.
Nothing.
And you said Oscar Piastri P3.
There we go. 1 point. So I got 3.
You bagged 3 points this week.
There we go. I was actually on for a winner there if they hadn't crashed.
Yep, but you didn't.
So I'm on to #blessed44 now. That's good.
I'm just listening to mine.
You said the opposite.
Yeah, I think so.
I think.
I'm just listening.
I don't know.
I'm getting VAR.
Who you put
so
third?
Weird.
Can we tap into previous Matt to hear what he says?
So I said Verstappen sprint win.
2.
So 2 points. I said Lando Norris pole, so no points. I said Lando for the win, so no points.
Yep.
I said Max P2. Oh, damn it. That's not gone well. That's Charles Leclerc had an absolute stinker.
Oh, dear. Right, so we're both on 44. #blessed. Lewis Hamilton.
Wonderful. So as the Lewis Hamilton fan, then I get to predict first.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, Hamilton,
we need to do... Hang on.
What?
Who was your driver of the day?
Oh, George Russell. He won in the third best car, Jamie.
Nico Hülkenberg was mine.
What? Oh, sorry, I thought you said Rosberg. That really threw me off there for half a second. I was like,
Rosberg, in tribute to 2016, gets my driver of the day because they did a great job recreating it.
Do you know what's mad about Silverstone?
Race rating?
8.
It was good, wasn't it?
Actually, no, 7.5. 7.5.
It was... I'll give it an 8. I quite liked it because Hulk finished P6.
Okay.
His best result since Monza 2019.
Wow. That's terrible.
No, actually, that's not true. That
I was going to say, that's not right, is it?
No, actually might be. No, I think it is.
Australia 20 last year?
He came 7th.
Didn't he get a good result there? Oh, wow.
And then he was 7th in the Force India in 70th anniversary.
Yes, yeah. You know what's mad about Silverstone, Jamie?
Yeah? What's mad?
Hamilton, in the hybrid era, has not finished off the podium still.
Oh, I know.
He's on a 10-race streak here.
He's got 14 in total, hasn't he?
It's insanity. He just never finishes off the podium here.
Is it 14 in total? Or I've made that up.
I think you might be slightly high.
Well, you got 07, 08, 10, and that might be it. Maybe it's 13.
Did he get in 2012?
No.
No.
Yes, it will
2013 he didn't, did he? Yeah, because he had a tyre
puncture.
failure.
Should have just looked after the tyres better. Because no one else had issues that race.
Oh, yeah, no one at all.
Right, what are we rambling on about now?
Predictions
for Silverstone. It's not a sprint, is it? No.
Thank you.
Until November.
Yep,
right.
We've got 3 in the last 6 races. It's so dumb.
Predict Hamilton Grand Chelem, please.
Oh, yeah, no chance. Lando Norris pole. I'm going to give you a window. Lando Norris race win.
Oh, no.
Max Verstappen P2. Oh, do I want to believe in Lewis, man, but I know it's stupid. It's so stupid. Surely you can't get another podium here this weekend in that car.
The car that just won the last race.
Oh yeah, you know what? You know what? Yeah, Lando win, Max Lewis. I'm locking it in. I'm so dumb.
You know what? If you hadn't gone Lewis P3, I was going Lewis P3. So
oh man, go Lewis P3 as well then. Go on.
I'll go Max Verstappen pole.
Okay.
Max Verstappen win.
Okay. Go on, say Lewis P2.
I like putting Piastri up there. I don't know why. I just quite like Piastri.
He's a good guy. He should have had his first win last weekend.
Do I go Verstappen to take out Norris again? No. I'll say Norris P2 and George Russell because he's the number one Mercedes driver these days.
Oh yeah. Do you know in their time together at Merck, he's actually outscored Lewis by 2 points?
Yeah.
He's
got 2 more race wins.
Yeah, exactly. So that's actually probably more impressive that Lewis has been more consistent, I would have thought.
Well, yeah.
2 wins, and you're ahead of him by 2 points.
In Qatar as well.
He did, yeah, to be fair.
But then Russell finished 4th still, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Mercedes should have won that one.
Won? No way.
They had the pace. They had the pace, not in the sprint, but in the Grand Prix, and once the track cooled off, they absolutely had the pace.
Max was not even trying at that point.
I think he was.
Nah.
He got beaten on Saturday. Shocking.
Right.
Shocking.
And
going to bed?
You know, Nico Hülkenberg is 67 to 1 to get a podium.
Oh, go on. Lob a tenner on that, because Haas are so good at Silverstone.
Hulk and Magnussen have the same odds of a top 6 as Alonso does. That's insane.
Get a quid on it. Get a quid on it for Alonso.
9 to 1 for Alonso to get a top 6.
Come on, put a quid on that, Jamie.
Nah.
You know you like to gamble. I take a good
No,
punt,
I definitely don't.
No? You sure?
Joe is 29 to 1 for a points finish. I actually would be tempted by that.
He's no way he's going to get a point here.
Hey,
we are rambling so badly.
His best ever qualifying, I think.
Oh, I thought you would say his best ever race in 22.
No, he wasn't his best ever. It was at that point his best ever qualifying, and then George Russell took him out.
Wasn't it also Sargent or Latifi? No, it was Latifi. Wasn't it his best ever qualifying?
It was a Latifi Joe 9-10 in qualifying.
Deary me.
In fact, Joe was 9th, Latifi 10th, so have that. Yes, I want to go.
Go sleep, Jamie. Thank you as always so much for listening. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. And yeah, hopefully normality is going to be resumed. We'll be back early next week with more Knowing Wheel.